Hi there, so I'm back with another War and Conquest battle report. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I bought some Conquest miniature Normans and I wanted to try them out, and it's the Normans versus the Samurai at 1000 points. So the armies, in my army I have 2 mounted units of Millites. There's 10 in one unit, 9 in the other. I have 2 units of Liberi, which are kind of a light infantry, relatively cheap. Thrusting spears, and 2 10-man units of slingers. I think skirmishes is really important in this game. If you don't have any skirmishes just to cancel out the enemy skirmishes, you're going to find it a struggle. And I've also got a Duke's personality to lead them. And on the samurai side, I've got to get this right now. It's 18 Ashiguro. I think it's 18 samurai retainers with bows. Unit of Ashiguro that have combined arms with musket and bow, and then a samurai bodyguard mounted. There's only 6 of them. They also have a captain of sorts with them, and a daimyo general overall. Okay, my opponent got first turn and chose to go first. He moved his bow samurai up and completely obliterated my skirmishers on the left there. Wiped out that unit of skirmishers. And he moved up his combined archer musket force, and everyone else just kind of scattered. My cavalry I put into these nice thin formations column that allows me to triple my movement, and I thought this would be ideal. What I'm going to do is just going to push around him and then turn 90 degrees and charge into the flanks and rear. It didn't go quite as planned, but I'm pushing forward at the moment and it's looking quite good. Right, in the second turn it was kind of important, so I put a strategy point in to try and get the initiative for the turn. My opponent did the same. I have 2 strategy intervention points and my opponent has 3. So at the moment he's got the advantage here on what he can do. He chucks one in, I chuck one in, and I end up winning the roll. And I then try and push my cavalry up round the flank. One of my cavalry units is stuck there. I try to pass a command check to turn 90 degrees. I thought it was going to be pretty easy. I needed a morale check of 8 and below on 3 dice, picking the 2 lowest, and had no success there. So unfortunately they got stuck where they are. But my other cavalry unit is running up the flank, and my liberate infantry, I'm just pushing towards his musket men. I'll just use them to drive them off. And down the bottom, my other spearman unit is just going to hold that flank, and we'll see how it goes from there. Oh, my skirmishers, I think I went up and tried to have some pot shots at his cavalry. So as you can see, in my opponent's turn, he goes into skirmish formation with both his mounted bodyguards and his foot samurai. His foot samurai passed the test, and no, I don't need to go into a test to go into the formation. So they open up with their bows and manage to do no casualties on my Norman knights on the left there. On the far side, I think he gets a few of my slingers out with his bows on his mounted bodyguards. So all samurais have bows in this. The Ashiguro just pushed forward there to get into charge range of my Liberi on the bottom, on the right flank there, and everyone else holds. I just have my infantry there. I'm going to push forward. Now he's going to skirmish formation, and knowing he has to evade, I'm going to push forward into the musket and archer unit with a charge and an extra rank, and probably just only 1 extra rank, so casualties. I should be able to defeat him and then overrun into the samurai. And because they're in skirmish formation, they'll have to evade, and that should just push that whole line backwards. By the way, you get a secret objective in War and Conquest. My secret objective was, I think, something like Test of Strength, and I have to end up with, at the end of the game, some units in the opposing deployment zone. So as you see here, my cavalry are pushing up nicely, and if I can drive the centre back here as well, that'll be ideal. Also, unknown to me, my opponent's objective was to hold the centre. So me pushing him back worked out well for me as well. He did get a couple of shots off here with his infantry. He could use his mass bow to get the bows because he hasn't moved because of his handguns. Opens fire and only managed to plink off one of my library infantry there anyway. So on to the next turn. Again, we're both dying to get the initiative, and we both put a strategy intervention point in to try and roll the extra dice. Gives you an additional dice to roll to win the initiative. Highest dice wins. So we both rolled 2 dice, and I managed to win the roll-up, which was perfect. So with my initiative, I charged straight in at the handguns and archers there. My infantry moved up just to tempt his infantry into charging. As far as I was concerned, if he charged me, I had the advantage to a degree. I had 12 attacks because I got thrusting spears, so I can fight in 2 ranks in the first round of combat. He'll get the charge bonus, and that's probably going to be it. So with an extra 6 attacks, even though I'm hitting on 5s, I should be able to do enough wounds to counteract what he's thinking. On the top side there, I turn my Norman Knights down to try and get into some action, and my other knights have also finally turned and started pushing forwards as well. Okay, so the combat went as well as I thought. I've managed to wipe out the light infantry with muskets and bows. I also outran them and destroyed them, and also overran into the samurai and pushed them back. So I'm really driving back his right hand side here. The only thing he's got now is his Ashiguro spearman to hold off against mine, and I think we're pretty equally matched here. His morale is as bad as mine, but he is slightly better in combat. But I've got my Norman Knights there ready to support, and also I'm using my slingers just to try and cause as many casualties onto his bodyguard, because I think if that unit gets behind my flanks, it's going to be a real nightmare unit. So my opponents managed to roll for a cohesion test for the evade, so it was an official evade. I mean, skirmishers have this chance to evade. If they pass the morale check, they'll rally automatically at the end of the flee. He passed his, so this turn he reformed them and went back into rank and file up on the hill there. He also charges in with his infantry. It's not photographed here, but his infantry goes against mine, and he charges in his mounted bodyguard against my skirmishers, which I don't mind because it's such a small unit. I only need to cause that 1 or 2 casualties. If you go below minimum unit size, the unit's removed. It's just too small to act. The minimum unit size for a mounted unit is 4 and 6 for infantry. So yeah, if he wipes out my skirmishers, it's a fair trade for that mounted bodyguard unit and character. So yep, as expected, he goes in and wipes out my skirmishers, but thankfully I managed to get 1 wound on him. So if I just cause 1 more wound on that unit, it's gone. And as you can see, my infantry, with the extra attacks, 6 to 12, I did manage to break his Ashiguro spearman. Failed to catch him, unfortunately, but it did mean I overran into his what they call mounted bodyguard. So they had to flee. Luckily, they passed the cohesion test, so they'll rally automatically at the end of the flee as well. So he's still got them for next turn. Unfortunately, the Ashigaru failed to rally in the end phase and is still fleeing. So in my opponent's turn, he got the call for it the next turn. He opens fire down to my Liberi with his samurai with mass fire. Only does two casualties. He also opens fire with his mounted bodyguard and only does 1 casualty on my other infantry. So at the moment, my peasant infantry seems to be doing all the work, while my knights are well out of it and not too bothered. So again, in my turn, I'm pushing forward as fast as I can. I use my infantry down the bottom here to charge his Ashiguru that hadn't rallied and push them further away again. This is a risky thing, I realised after. Could you have to... No, I suppose it's not really. I did think because they had to spend a turn to rally, but they can't see the flank of my other spearmen, so I would have been safe. So yeah, it was a good call. I pushed them away. And everyone else has just moved up, as you can see, so he doesn't get any stand and shoot reaction with the spearman. We'll just see how it goes. And he can't mass fire. I don't think he can mass fire if the target's within 8 inches of the archer unit. Okay, so in my opponent's turn, he got the call for this round. His Ashiguro rallied in the resolution phase, or sorry, end phase it's called, I think it is, and in his turn managed to turn to face. So now they're up for a charge onto my flank, my spearmen. He charged his samurai down the hill into my spearman. Again, I wasn't too worried. In the first rounds of combat, I've got that extra rank. So my thrusting spears just means I can dish out those extra attacks. Also, you might have noticed his mounted bodyguard had gone. They tried to do some glancing attacks into my spearman. That was a big risk. If I just caused one more casualty, they were dead, and I managed to cause that one casualty. I mean, they did a good 2 wounds on me, but it didn't matter. Once they were down below their minimum strength, them and the character had gone. So in my turn, I just pushed everything up. What I'm going to go for is just... Oh, I also charged my cavalry in, which was cool on the flank there, which also disrupts them, which means now they don't get rank bonus, they can't fight in the second rank, they don't get their bonus for being over half strength for morale checks, so they're rolling 2 dice instead of 3, which is brilliant. Being charged in the flank is bad in this game. I've also pushed up my Norman Knights and my infantry, and now if I can get the initiative for the next turn, I should be able to charge in and kick some butt. In the combat, the last combat ended up being a draw. In this combat, I managed to win. The little black dice there is my push-shove bonus. If you win a round of combat, you'll get a bonus one in your next round of combat. Basically, if you keep winning but not breaking them, you will keep getting more and more bonuses. So it's quite nice. A really elite unit will eventually break, even though it does cost you a lot of men. So, to say I've won this one. I'm fighting in the extra ranks now. He can't do it. So yeah, I'm in a quite a happy position depending on the next roll. If I win it, it's good. If my opponent wins it, so it's actually good, or they're a bit scattered, will end up into my flank. As it was, we both had already used up all our strategy and invention points. My opponent had done it in a previous turn to gain the initiative. As you can also see then, that this is turn 6, that big dice in the background is indicating the turn. So this was it for me. I charged straight in with my infantry into his flank. There's nothing for my Norman's knights at the back here to be able to see anything, so unfortunately they were stuck there, and I'm just hoping to grind out through this combat. I moved my general up there just to support everyone and give them a morale boost. And with that, I managed to drive through them, chase off his general, because he has to flee as well. And the game ends like that. I still hadn't broken them. I did win the round of combat again. So for the next turn I will be up to push and shove bonus of 2. But my opponent called it there because he couldn't complete his objective, and I was quite happy with my position of having pretty much my army in his deployment zone. So yeah, that was a really good game. Win to the Normans there without actually using the cavalry, which surprised me even more. There is a double-edged sword of being in skirmish formation, as my opponent found out. I really am enjoying War and Conquest. It's got a great feel to the game. I'm trying to repaint my Empire army at the moment. I'm going to put them on 25mm round bases, mainly because I do a lot of skirmish games. I'm not really interested in Age of Sigmar. I've got too many other fantasy skirmish games. I really don't need another one. So I'm going to base them up so I can use all the movement trays I've got for these guys, and at some point I will be having to go a Warhammer War and Sorcery game, just waiting for a few more lists for Rob to throw out and see how it goes from there. I've also got coming up a quick review on the War and Conquest, the Conquest games, or no, sorry, yes, Conquest games, Conquest miniatures. Can't remember which ones now, but they're Normans. They're very nice, but I'll have a full review on them just so you can see what they're like and what you can do with the plastics. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye, Wallace.